Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. This is Hazel Lucia Tarot. I'm your tarot reader Stephanie, and today's reading is about your reputation. We're going to see how you are perceived, what your reputation is in 3 sections. I think I did general, love relationship, and career workplace. We have 5 piles here for you today. Pile 1, we have the goddess Pele with passion. Pile 2, we have the goddess Artemis with independence. Pile 3, we have the goddess Ishtar with sexuality. Pile 4, we have the goddess Bastet with sanctuary. And pile 5, we have the goddess Ixchel with compassion. So take a few deep breaths, and I'll be ready for your reading whenever you are. Hello there, pile 1. If you chose the goddess Pele, then we have your reading here for you about people's thoughts and opinions of you, your reputation, if you will. And we're going to see this in various areas. We're going to see it in general, love, friendships, and in your workplace, in your career. So I'm actually doing it similar to my monthly readings, so we get a little bit of a view of what your reputation is in certain aspects of your life. So you chose the goddess Pele. She this card says passion. So she is the goddess of volcanoes in Hawaiian mythology. I think of somebody who's very fiery, very feisty, maybe low, calm, and chill, until something provokes you or something illuminates you. This could be both good and bad. Like, you could be quick to anger or also quick to make happy. I think it depends on what the situation is. I feel like your emotions could be something that people maybe talk about because maybe you're typically a volcano basically comes off as a mountain until it erupts. So I feel like a lot of you could be like very, very chill, maybe unbothered until something gives you some sort of feeling. I was going to say trigger, but it's not always triggering. Sometimes it's good things. Sometimes it's things that excite you. So let's go ahead and look at your oracles. They've been pre-selected here. So pile 1, we have Horseshoe Fortune, number 13. We have Explore. We have Stop. We have Pomona Plenty. I'm going to have her over here next to Pele. Maybe somebody's name here begins with a P because they both have names that start with a P. I'm thinking specifically of Penelope because Pele and Pomona make me think of like Penelope. And then we have Scales of Balance, Ancient Tantra of the Soul. Several things. Like I already mentioned, fiery energy, specifically Sagittarius is coming through. Some of you could have Sagittarius in a very specific placement, either like the first house, rising, or maybe the midhaven, because I know I have it on the midhaven, and some people think I'm a Scorpio Sagittarius cusp, which is interesting. But for a lot of you, there is this feeling that you have a very adventurous side to you, a passionate side. You come off as very lucky and bountiful, abundant. I feel like you may look like you have money or that everything in your life is covered. Like, you don't look like somebody who stresses out too much. Again, you look very chill and calm on the surface until something excites you. I'm just thinking of like somebody who's just, hanging out unbothered, and then they see their favorite, they hear their favorite song, or they see their favorite person, or they see a dog or something, something that excites them, and suddenly they light up. I'm getting a little bit of that. It's like you'll have extreme feelings and people notice that. I think they find it funny, especially people who don't see that side of you that is expressive. I feel like not everybody gets to see that. Explore makes me think that maybe you do like to be adventurous. Maybe you travel a lot. Maybe you are out in nature a bit. Maybe some of you live on a farm. Stop lets me know that you know how to set boundaries. Because I'm getting that some people find you, despite all of this, slightly unapproachable. Like, you won't just make room in your life for anybody. I feel like you've cut off people before, and people have either witnessed this or seen this, or they've heard about this. It's like, oh yeah, I used to be really close to pile 1. And then they look at you and they're like, how? What are they like? Because there is a little bit of air of mystery. With Scales of Balance, I do feel like you have a very balanced masculine and feminine side, which not everybody does. I feel like you exert both of those energies rather well. It's like you can be really masculine, very independent, self-reliant, and protective, but you're also feminine in that you are very nurturing, care for others, and are able to receive wonderful things from the world. So a very balanced individual. Also, there's something just slightly, there's like a strong undertone of like sensuality here for a lot of you. I feel like some people, when they do find you physically attractive, it's intense. So it might be a little bit hot and cold when it comes to the people who find you attractive. Either they're, because I'm honestly seeing both of them. I have to be honest with you, pile one. Like some people, I feel like you're just not their cup of tea. Like they acknowledge that you're attractive, but you're not their cup of tea. Some people may just not find you attractive at all. And then you get the ones who, when they like you, they like you. I mean, they could obsess over you. It's kind of crazy. So I feel like you have a very specific effect on certain people. The things they've heard about you, I feel like people assume that you're rich, even if you're not. Or if you're not rich, they assume that you just have a lot of money for whatever reason, because you come off as very lucky. I see this a lot with people who come from like very fortunate backgrounds, like they have family that has money, but they themselves may not have it. Or maybe you have friends who are able to take you on like certain vacations, even though you didn't pay for any of it. I'm getting something along those lines. Or maybe you're just really good at budgeting. But people would rather see it as good luck than hard work, because you make things look easy, pile one. So with that said, let's get into the tarot. I want to see more specifically what your reputation is in specific areas of your life, as well as anything else, like certain people that you may be drawing in or that may be talking or thinking this about you. So for my pile one, in general, what is your reputation? We have the Two of Pentacles, Jupiter and Capricorn. Yeah, like I said, to you, hard work is luck. Hard work is luck, but people just attribute it to luck because you make things look easy. Even if you're out there like doing hard manual labor, you make it look so easy because you come home and you recharge and you look like you've never lifted anything in your life. And people are like, oh, well, pile one's just, they come from this, this, and this. It's like, no, pile one actually works really hard. I'm also getting... You're really good at balancing things out. Like, you know when to rest, you know when to work, you know when to put effort into something, when to back away. And it's noticeable. If you draw away your energy from something, someone, people really do notice it because you bring a certain energy into anything that you are involved in or anyone you're involved with. Queen of Cups. There's an excitable nature. I think people like your... this is giving like a very sweet, loving energy. Like you do have a very, I keep hearing a sweetness. Like you're very kind, you're very cute as well. Some of you could look younger than your years, I'm hearing as well. We have Strength, Leo. People are always rooting for you. I do see that. People really do believe in you and they're rooting for you, even if they don't tell you. I feel like a lot of people like to support the things you do. You have the Sun. These wanted to come out reversed. Okay, so I'm being told if it's reversed, it's things that people don't say. If it's upright, you probably already know or people have told you this. So for example, Queen of Cups, people have probably told you that you're very kind and very sweet, or they thank you a lot for the help that you give. There's something very compassionate about you. And I think you're aware of that. I think you make it a point to be compassionate with people because you know that life can be hard and you'd rather help than just watch them suffer. But with people rooting for you, I don't think they tell you this. Maybe some of them do. Maybe your friends do. But a lot of people are like, oh, I hope she gets that. Oh, I hope she gets this. I say she, sorry. I hope pile one gets this. I hope pile one gets that. I say she because I was thinking of the Queen. You don't have to be a woman here, of course. With the Sun, you definitely brighten a room, but people don't notice it until you're not there. It's like when you first arrive, like, yes, they notice you, but they're like, oh, well, it's just pile one. But the moment you leave, it's like, where's pile one? Why is pile one not here? Which is kind of annoying because maybe some of these people don't even talk to you or say anything or value you when you are there. But the moment you're gone, it's like, oh my God, where's pile one? And you're here thinking, you didn't give a crap about me when I was there. Why is it suddenly a big deal? Because again, there's like a silent presence or energy to you, but it's noticeable nonetheless. We have the Page of Cups. Yeah, like I said, some of you come off as younger than you are, but this is also very like, I'm getting like little sibling vibes. Maybe some of you are the youngest sibling in your family. If not, people view you this way. Or you could be like the youngest of your friend group, the youngest of in your workplace. And even when you're no longer the youngest, people still treat you like it. Maybe for some of you, you're not even the youngest. Maybe you're like an only child or the oldest. But there's like a little brother, little sister vibe to you. Like people want to take care of you the way they would a pet or a friend. It's like protect pile one at all costs. I keep hearing that. It's funny that the cute energy keeps coming through. You don't have to be a woman. Sorry, I need it clean. There's a weird spot here. Okay, sorry. Maybe some of you are neat freaks as well. But yeah, people, they just think you're adorable, regardless of whether you're a guy or a girl. And maybe they tell you this. So let's go ahead and get your cards for how you are viewed in relationships, for how people view you in love, in romance. Regardless of whether you're interested in romance or not, I think it'd be interesting to hear. So pile one. Ooh, we have the Nine of Pentacles reversed. Independent energy for sure. You don't stick around with anyone who doesn't have anything to offer. I feel like you're very self-sufficient. You're very independent. You don't need anything from anyone, especially those of you who have money. Because like I said, a lot of people assume that you do. You don't put up with anything. You leave at the first sign of disrespect or the first red flag. And because of this, I feel like a lot of you are actually more prone to be single than not, despite how you look, despite the attention you may get. You also come off as like a very fair partner. I feel like, especially like your ex's families, you may be one of the few people they say, oh, pile one was very fair with you. They actually did stuff for you, or vice versa. Like, oh, they actually were able to. I don't know. It's like there's something here about you being a fair partner. We also have the Devil reverse. Look, spicy time. People love that maybe you don't express your sensuality out loud. Like you're not walking around, you know, wearing barely nothing or anything like that. I feel like you actually have a rather modest, like people view you rather modestly. But when it comes to the bedroom, behind closed doors, you are like an absolute vixen for some of you, if you're women, or you just have, it's like hot between the sheets and you keep it very private and only your partners are able to see that side of you. That's something not everybody's going to see. I don't see you having like, you know, an OF or anything like that. I feel like a lot of you keep that side private and your partners appreciate that because that's not something everybody gets to see. If you've been intimate with people before, they think about that a lot because there's something about I think behind closed doors, you really let loose when it comes to your sensuality, and people love that. People wouldn't assume that about you when they first meet you, or even like friends, family that have known you forever, they wouldn't assume that about you. But your partners, the people who have been able to see you intimately, or even the people who like, you know, obsess over you and have a crush on you, they pick up on that, or they know that. Or maybe some people may have heard of this. Like your partner's friends have definitely heard of this, because I feel like, because I'm thinking of like, you know, girl talk or locker room talk, whatever kind of talk people do when they talk about, you know, sensual things. They hear about what you're all about, and it's all good. It's all good. You know what's weird? Your friends kind of get jealous of the things that you do or may not do in bed as well. So that needed to be said. You have the Ace of Pentacles. You're somebody who's very reliable. I feel like people would want to start families or lifetimes with you. Maybe some of them already have. Maybe you've already tried a family with other people and you have kids from them, but you're very reliable. Strong earth energy when it comes to the relationship aspects of you. And then we have the Hermit. Like I said, a lot of you actually are fine not being in a relationship. And I think that's what people really wonder about, because either you're like really attractive or you have a personality that they assume everybody would want in a partner, and yet you're over here not in a partnership. So I think that surprises people. And I think they'd be surprised to see, like, yes, you get offers, but it's like you're not desperate. You don't settle for just anything. And then the last one is going to be the workplace. In your job, in your career. If you don't have a workplace and it's just your career, we're going to see how people see you. It's interesting that we have strong earth energy for relationships. Some of you could have Venus in an earth sign. So Venus in Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Because on the outside, it's like a combination of water and fire. Okay, so in the workplace, justice. Ooh. You do not put up with injustice in the workplace. Some of you could literally work in a legal field, or you would do really well in a legal field because you know what's fair and what's not. Even when it comes to the people you don't like, even when it comes to situations that you're just not happy about, you know what's fair and you know what's not. You know both in the sense of like professionally what is considered fair legally by, you know, the institutions you abide by, and also what is fair as a human. Like your sense of justice has multitudes to it. And I think people like this about you. We have Pluto judgment. Oh, people don't mess with you in the workplace, that's for sure. Or they shouldn't. Because if they do, it's not going to go well. We have Ten of Swords, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if this has been the case before where you've been dismissed or fired because you were making too much sense, pile 1. We have the Nine of Swords. But the odd thing is that you give people hope. Anybody else who has troubles in the workplace, you're there for them. You help them out. You give great advice. You ease their anxiety. And they love this about you. Maybe this is why people miss you when you're gone, especially like in the workspace. And Eight of Swords. You're not blind to the BS. I think you've tried that. You can't be. You can't be. Interesting, that's a lot of air in the workplace. So we have like Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. Back of the deck, Seven of Pentacles. So yeah, that's your reputation in a nutshell. I feel like, especially in the workplace, you come off differently in every aspect of life, which I'm glad is why I did this reading this way. So let's go ahead and get some closing cards. I'm going to do channeled messages, and the deck I'm using is about romance, but you don't have to take it that way. I'm going to translate it to be more platonic or less about romance, unless of course that romance messages are resonating from the tarot. So pile 1. We have take the road less trodden. You're definitely not one that follows the crowd. You do whatever you want. You have I am not coming back. Like I said, once you put up those boundaries, once you quit something, you don't go back. You don't look back. You have I do. I'm thinking of people wonder if you've gotten married, or maybe there's something about like a wedding here. Especially if you've invited people to like your wedding, or if you've been married before, or they may wonder if you are married. Some people may be asking that. This was meant to be. You definitely are a believer of fate. That's the one. There is a strong undertone and message of like somebody here wanting to pursue you romantically. People may wonder what happened with that. Like if they knew you to be with somebody, or if they knew that somebody wanted to be with you, they wonder like if you ever, got engaged or married, etc. And then let's just do back of the deck. We have heal yourself first. You understand that in order to help the world, you have to heal yourself first. Take care of you and you can take care of anybody. But this is where I leave it, pile 1. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 2. If you chose Artemis or the Independence card, then we have your reading here for you about your reputation. What do people think of you? What do they say about you? What is your overall reputation? We're going to do this in 3 parts. The general, love and relationships, or maybe friendships, and then career or finances, mostly the workplace though. So we're gonna start with your oracles, which have been pre-selected, and then we're gonna get into the tarot. So I'll go ahead and with Artemis, I'm getting a very independent streak, also very spontaneous, maybe slightly, I don't know what the word is, spacey, flaky, a little ADHD maybe, because I've had to start this video like 3 times already. First time because there was like this bug outside, like a weird noise or a bird, I don't know. And now it's here again. If you can hear that, I apologize, pile 2. And then the 3rd time is because of, I think I said the wrong pile. But yeah, there's something a little bit, people viewing you as all over the place for whatever reason. We have seek. We have space. We have anger. Some of you could come off as a little clumsy, not gonna lie, because I keep knocking into things behind me when I never do. I'm at the same desk that I always use. We have 20, secure, not. We have Valkyrie, redemption, and proper burial for freedom, sacrifice to Osiris, Lord of the Dead. You definitely enjoy your independence and freedom. You like to explore the world. You do whatever you want on your own terms. It wouldn't surprise me if a lot of you, either you're not married, don't have kids, or you don't care for those things. What you love out of life is an adventure and whatever the world has in store for you each day. I do feel like you're somebody who you expect a lot of space from people, and this would include your family, friends, and partners. And you're also, I feel like people would say something about your angry side. I feel like when you get angry, it's quite a scene to behold. It's quite something to behold. With secure, I do feel like you come off as somebody who doesn't need anybody's external validation. You are so secure, both in yourself, in your finances, or in being able to afford the things you need, as well as the person you are. Especially because I think a lot of you know and understand that you're very different from a lot of people. I feel like this very strong, almost stubborn, independent streak is something that people may talk about a lot, but you're secure in the person you are. Nobody can shake you. Maybe they used to back when you were younger, or back when you were still a teenager, or, you know, when we go through our changes. Maybe you used to be that way, but it's like at this point in life, whatever age you may be, no one can shake you here, pile 2. I feel like it would take a lot for people to knock you down, especially for those of you who appear more vulnerable, because I feel like you could scare anybody, or you could make anybody like shake in their boots, quake in their boots, whatever it said. With proper burial for freedom, I feel like a lot of you, I'm quite literally hearing that to be held down by anything would be a burial of your freedom, and you're not ready for that. I'm also hearing with sacrifice to Osiris, it's almost like you do, why am I seeing like marriage as a death here? Maybe some of you have been married before, you didn't like it, and you never want to do it again. Maybe some of you, the idea or concept of marriage just feels like a part of your soul would be snuffed out, and you would never want to do that. Take that as it resonates. And I'm not saying that that's how marriage is, but I feel like for a lot of you, you really look forward to a lot more things in life than just the conventional expectations, especially, for example, if you're a woman and people wonder, when are you going to find a husband, settle down, etc. You're like, I don't care about that. You're like, there's so much more in the world to experience. A lot of you do love to travel. This is a pile where you truly, truly love and experience. Maybe you like to go to shows, or you enjoy camping. You like to do. Artemis is the goddess of nature, so some of you could enjoy nature. And this makes me think of a ship, so a lot of you may travel overseas, or maybe even by boat. With Valkyrie redemption, there's like a really, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like an intense energy to you that people, I think they do expect it. And it's kind of like you're not for the faint of heart. This includes the people who are your friends and lovers. And I think your family worries about you, but then they forget that who you are, they really shouldn't be worried. I feel like a lot of people have wronged you, and a lot of people have mistaken you for something. Because I see people, they take you for granted, or they underestimate you. I get that a lot. Like, people don't expect you to be what you are. Some of you may have talents and skills that you don't show a lot of people. This is giving me a combination of Sagittarius and Scorpio. So maybe some of you were born in November would be that time. Or you could have both of these in your chart. But with that said, I want to get into the tarot to see what your reputation is. It's weird. It's wild and intense. And a little bit unexpected. I kind of like it. So, pile 2, in general, we're going to see your reputation. And if anybody pops through like a particular individual or group of people, I will note that as well. We have the 9 of Pentacles. Yeah, absolute independence. Also, a love of yourself that you worked really hard for. It's like a lot of you had to find your sense of self-worth. It's been a whole journey. Maybe it still is, but it's like you're 99% there. You come off as somebody who doesn't have many insecurities. We have the Ace of Cups, but you're also somebody who's very willing to be a friend to all. Like, I feel like people are surprised by how compassionate you can be. You have the King of Pentacles. Yeah, you don't need anybody or anything. You're actually a very stable and solid person. At least when it comes to things like your finances or maybe even your career, especially like what you do for work and what your lifestyle is may be very different. Let's say you do like to travel and you travel all over the world, but for work you work for corporate and you do some sort of thing that people wouldn't expect, maybe some legal field or some, I don't know, some sort of desk job that you can work remotely, and people are always taken aback when you tell them what it is that you do. That's an example, of course, but your finances are set for the majority, or your work is set. We also have the Five of Cups. I do get the feeling that a lot of you're either older or you've just gone through a lot in life. Like, you've experienced a lot, because I feel like an old version of yourself used to focus on the negative, and now all you can do is focus on the positive, or you understand that life isn't always a struggle. It can be as beautiful as we choose for it to be. We have the Eight of Pentacles reverse. Yeah, you're a solid, stable person, and people don't seem to believe this. Maybe because of what you show on the outside. I am getting a specific type of person coming through here. Like, certain people may judge you to be a certain way, but they don't even know you. I do get that a lot, because the energy I'm picking up on you, how people view you versus like what I'm seeing about you actually is very different. This makes me think of Paris Hilton, how she played a character for a long time in the 2000s, you know, very ditzy heiress who loves pink and carries her cute little chihuahua everywhere. And people thought she was an airhead. But the truth is she's actually a businesswoman, because, I mean, she comes from a family of business people from the hotels chains that they owned. When you grow up like that, you grow up knowing business, regardless of whether you want to or not. So when it comes to things like that, she's actually really smart about it, and she's had a few business things out there. I know her perfume. I actually had her perfume when I was younger. I was never a big fan of her. Like, that was definitely not my aesthetic growing up. I was all goth, but as I've gotten older, and I look back on the 2000s and like how toxic the media was, I kind of see like where we misjudged her. I definitely misjudged her. Maybe some of you had a very different aesthetic when you were younger than you do now, or you were very different. Okay, so in love and relationships, let's go ahead and see how this is. This could also be friendships, by the way. So we have the Queen of Pentacles. We have Nine of Cups. Regardless of whether you're in a relationship or not, you're happy. And I think that's what people may find this a little odd, because you have this glow about you. And this is just kind of like, this is an example. I'm not saying this is true or not. I think it depends. But you know how some people assume that if somebody is smiling at their phone, that, oh, it's got to be the person they like. Oh, it's got to be their boyfriend, girlfriend, whomever. And you're just smiling at like a picture of a cute duckling or something. You're smiling at pictures of animals. That's what I'm getting. I feel like regardless of whether you're in a relationship or not, you're actually very happy, because you're a very happy person. Not only that, but you bring a lot of good love energy to any relationship. We have the Three of... Okay, so for some of you, the Three of Wands, you may be propositioned for certain things when it comes to physical intimacy. The example I'm being shown, like maybe poly people like to invite you to be part of their thing or something along those lines, or you could be, for some of you, you're very tempting. Like if somebody's already got again, I do not agree with this. I do not condone this, but if someone's already got a partner, there's something really seductive about your adventurous energy that makes them wonder, like if you would like to be a side piece. Again, I don't agree with this, but I'm seeing this energy. And I say this because I've seen it. I've seen it for myself. So I'm not agreeing with any of that at all. But I feel like you have that reputation when it comes to relationships, that you could possibly steal somebody's man or woman if you wanted to. I don't think you do, but I don't think you would. But it's kind of like people wonder if that's your thing. If it's not that, people wonder what your wild side is, because people assume by looking at you that you have a little bit, you know, a little kinky thing going on here. Not sure why. We have the moon. Oh, sorry, not the moon. This is the high priestess. It just has moon on top. So this is the high priestess. You're actually very intuitive, and that's what people don't expect in relationships. Your partners could never lie to you, or at the very least, not for long. You would eventually find out if they were being honest or dishonest, which I think is part of the reason you're okay being alone, because maybe in the past, sometimes people lie not to hurt, but just to, you know, preserve the peace, or to not hurt somebody's feelings, or something along those lines. And I feel like you've had really great partners who, even in all the goodness that they were, would still like fib or say white lies, and you would just be like, why are you doing that? You know, I feel like people couldn't hide anything from you. They can't hide anything from you in romantic relationships. And I think that freaks people out. So either they get used to it, they start being completely honest, or you just move on. So I feel like that's a big point of contention for a lot of you. Same thing with friendships. So it wouldn't surprise me if your group of friends was very small, because you hold your friends accountable for the lies that they say or don't say, or the things that they do in their personal lives that you may or may not agree to, because I feel like you're very highly opinionated, especially with the Queen of Pentacles here. Let's get your last card. Your reputation. The World. The biggest thing is that you don't need anybody. And that's not to say that you don't deserve anybody should you want somebody in a romantic relationship, but people know. And I think there's like a select few people who are like, Pile 2 doesn't need anybody. They're good on their own. They're happy on their own. They can create anything on their own. And maybe your focus in life isn't even romance. I think for a lot of you, I think at some point you did have romance, or you definitely were in long-term relationships, because part of you really does yearn for that stability. And I think at some point you felt that need for a relationship was actually holding you back. So you just kind of let it fall to the wayside. Not saying that you don't care about romance. It's more like it's not important. But if it does come along, it's going to take somebody really special to be able to handle you. Because you're not like other girls. No, I'm kidding. But in all honesty, I feel like it's true. You're not like many other people out there. You're very specific. Let's get your cards for the workspace. What's your reputation in the workspace or in your career, in your line of work? The Lovers. Some of you might have your own business, and that's kind of like that's your relationship. Your relationship or your baby is your business. Like what you focus on the most is how you make a living. We have the Three of Swords. Interesting. Okay, I'm picking up a new storyline here, Pile 2, and it's kind of juicy. We have the Ten of Swords. The Five of excuse me. The Five of Swords reversed. I'm hearing you're too smart for a lot of workspaces. And then we have Strength, Leo. Yeah. Two things. One, you may have been known in certain workspaces. If for whatever reason you do have a partner, like if whatever I said up here doesn't resonate for the majority of you, or even if you do have a partner right now, some of you may have met your partner at work, and that's how people know you. It's like, oh, there goes the partner of Pile 2 or something like that. If that's not the case, I feel like for some of you, you may have dated around a lot in your field or in the workspace. Not saying that you have your reputation of being, I mean, you could be a heartbreaker, not gonna lie, you could be a heartbreaker in the workspace. But I do see that a little bit. Just take that if it resonates. I'm not saying it's gonna be for all of you, but for some of you, I feel like you may have a reputation for that. Maybe a lot of you just work a lot or used to work a lot, and now it's like, where else were you going to find anybody when you're spending 40 plus hours in an area? Like, where else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? But if not, I'm also seeing you view work as a relationship. especially a particular workplace or a company that you work for. If they're not giving you anything, you don't give them anything, because it's all about balance. For some of you, I feel like there is this feeling that you're too smart for certain places. Maybe you worked in jobs or areas where everybody around you just seemed to not really be there intellectually or in terms of skill set. I feel like you got used to being the one who knows the most, or who is more educated, or more just, I feel the energy of being bored in the workplace because you're not stimulated enough in any way, or not challenged enough, even in some cases. And it's kind of odd. It's like you need a lot of mental stimulation, or you need a lot of people who also know what you're doing, because I feel like there's an imbalance here. I feel like for a lot of you, this is formerly, or so this could be like your old coworkers thinking about why you're no longer there. It's because you were too good for the space. Especially with strength, it's like you're on to better things. So for a lot of you, if you're not currently in this energy, this could be the future, because I see you, a lot of you, either working for a company that compensates you a lot better, or starting your own business and having a lot more freedom. Take whichever resonates here. But yeah, I feel like for a lot of you, you worked in places that you were far too smart for, and rather than allowing you to take control of certain things or giving you positions that were better suited with that natural skill, they would give you things that nobody else wanted to do, because I don't know. I think when people see certain things within people, they get intimidated and they treat them like garbage. And unfortunately, that's just what I'm seeing for some of you in a former workspace. So we're going to end this with channeled messages. And this is meant to be a love oracle, but I am going to translate it for something more platonic here in terms of your reputation. So pile 2, channeled messages from the people and their views on you. This is not a phase. This is not a phase, Mom. No, I'm kidding. I think for some of you, you've come into something that is very natural and normal for you. And I think it's actually not a phase. Maybe some people think that you will eventually get over it and be onto something else. But I think there's some aspect of you that was never really a phase. Like you were this when you were younger, and maybe you stepped away from it for some time, but now it's like you're definitely in your you-ness. And something more authentic to you. Keep your head up and look forward. Yeah, you look forward to the future, to the things that are coming ahead. I feel like you don't really think about the past too much. Maybe some of this brought up a little bit from the past. I want to give up. When others give up, you don't. Can we meet? You meet a lot of people in person. I feel like that's your preferred method. Again, if you travel a lot, you may ask to meet them. I'm thinking of meeting somebody, getting to know somebody on an app and then meeting them in person. Or people may like to see you in person more than anything. I'm so excited for our future. Yeah, there's a lot about the future here. That's the one. There's a lot of people in your past who have considered you the one. Like they really thought you would be the one to do something, or the one to end up with someone. There's something here about like a destiny that maybe was taken away from you, or like certain things that were meant for you, but you didn't want them. I am getting a little bit of that. And then don't go back. Yeah, but don't think that you're meant to go back to something here. It's all about the future, and it's all about what's ahead for you, pile 2. And I think you wouldn't have it any other way. But this is where I leave it. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hey there, pile 3. If you chose Ishtar, then we have your reading here for you about people's opinions of you, your reputation. We're mostly looking at your reputation and what people think of you. And we're going to be looking at several aspects of your life, including love relationships and the workplace. So we're going to start with the card you chose. We have Ishtar, sexuality here. I am going to be reading from the book for this because I was kind of called to, because I was blanking on, I get her and several other of the more ancient goddesses confused. So maybe sometimes people confuse you with somebody else, especially if you're in areas where people may look like you or have a similar look to you. Which I know sucks to hear, but maybe you're even aware of this, especially those of you who have siblings who look like you, or maybe you and your friends look similar. I feel like people may confuse you with other people. But from the booklet, we have... you know what's funny? I was going to say I get her confused with Inanna. Her name is Inanna. also known as Inanna, is the Mesopotamian goddess of sexual love, beauty, and war. She is an ancient and complex goddess, acting as both a goddess of love and war. I think it's the same thing. Ishtar is a powerful seductress, is a protector of all women, and can withhold or promote desire. She is a warrior and a fierce defender of wronged women who can unalive or bless with just a glance. She is characterized as beautiful, young, and passionate, but never a mother goddess. She is usually depicted sitting on a lion throne, holding her double serpent scepter. Oh, that sounds cool. Ishtar was once worshipped by a large organized religion, but fell from favor with the rise of more patriarchal culture. So you come off as somebody who likes to have fun, definitely very beautiful, definitely very like young, fun, and single, regardless of your age or whether you are single. I feel like for a majority of you, especially because it did mention that she was, she's not considered a mother. I'm thinking of the maiden mother crone archetype, which I'm not a big fan of. I don't believe that we fit into any, like, I don't know, me personally, I just don't like the idea of fitting into one of those categories. Sometimes there's something in between. And I feel like a lot of you're that in between maiden and mother, because maybe you've never had children, maybe you're past the age of having children, but you still come off as young and maidenly, quote, quote, like there's something very youthful to you. Or even if you do have children, you don't have that mothering energy. Or maybe you're even crone and you're still in this energy. There's definitely something very, very seductive about you, for sure. I feel like people find you to be very beautiful. Or at the very least, you have that reputation of being like, maybe for some of you, like a playgirl, playboy kind of energy. This is meant to be for all genders, by the way. I know I'm using mostly feminine nouns and pronouns here because the majority of my viewers will be women. But take this as it resonates, of course, pile 3. Let's go ahead and get your oracles. We have connect. I'm hearing very friendly. We have labyrinth, journey, number 45. And I feel like the age 45 would be considered, quote, quote, that mother age. But like I said, for you, it doesn't apply here, pile 3. Maybe, I don't know, it's weird. I brought up maiden mother crone and I just got a little in my opinions and feelings about it. So maybe you also feel this way. We have protection. We have white buffalo woman, peace. And we have power over 7 scorpions, power to conjure lower vibrational forces. Interesting. I'm going to put that next to here. I'm also going to read from the book for this one. So from the book, we have, you are being initiated into the magic of conjuring. You have power to affect lower vibrational forces through your own will and spoken word. You are guided to use the powerful gift with compassion and discernment, with mercy and non-judgment. You can then manage any toxicity in your life swiftly and with great effect. You don't put up with anything. You don't put up with anything, and either your energy, or maybe you actively do this here, pile 3, you make it a point to get rid of people who are not good for you. If they're toxic, if they act up in any way, if they even have a whiff of lower vibrational energy or habits, you are just like, yeah, no, I'm not dealing with that. And you graciously, swiftly, and harmoniously just get yourself out of that situation. I'm literally seeing specifically, like maybe you go through your social media accounts and you make it a point to get rid of or block people that either just rub you the wrong way or that you don't interact with. I see a lot of you have a lot of discernment, and I think this rubs people the wrong way, because I am getting, even though there's like a lot of positive energy here, I feel like you make it a point to protect yourself. People are very protective over you. The universe is protective over you, because I feel like you understand that if you surround yourself with people who are not great, then you will get sucked into that energy and you don't like it. It's very draining. I'm being shown an example of, let's say you used to be in a certain dynamic with either friends or family. And when you were in that, it was just so awful that you would be in a negative state of mind, negative space, low vibrational space, and then you leave it and you feel so much better. But then whenever you get back into it, especially if it's something like family where, Sometimes they request that you be there. You get back into it and you feel drained and you're like, I'm not here to be living a life where I'm taking on everybody's BS. So you definitely have your boundaries up, but in a way that, again, is very gracious. Like you don't crash out over it. You don't make it a big point of contention. You don't even really confront these people. They just never hear from you again. But for the people who do hear from you again with Journey, I feel like they've seen you go up and down. And this is going to be very few the people who've seen this because, again, you are very discerning. With Connect, I do see you very open to like meeting people and getting to know people though, which is, I think, the ironic thing. It's like you haven't let lower vibrational energy get in the way of you being open to making friends, or even for a lot of you, this could be romantic partnerships. It's like, even if you've had your share of struggles in relationships, this hasn't really made you stop believing in love. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about you. And maybe people even see this. They might be surprised to find out that for those of you who are single, that you're single, or even if you are in a relationship, that you had gone through so much previously before the current healthy relationship you are in. With White Buffalo Woman, you truly do believe in peace. I think deep down you do strive for something better in this world. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about you. But you don't put up with BS. It's like, yes, you're here to make the world a better place, but you will not put up with people just being garbage. And I feel like you also hold people accountable to the garbage that they may be promoting as well, ironically enough. Or maybe non-ironically, maybe that's just on brand. But yeah, a lot of you, what else is coming through? Let's go ahead and get into your, oh, no, yeah, that's all. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the tarot. I feel like the tarot wants to say a little bit more here about you, my lovely pile 3. So we are gonna start with the general reputation that you may have. This is just reputation. I'm hearing for some of you online. So maybe you have a strong online presence, or people may know you through the internet. Like, I'm being shown for some of you, maybe you offer like a website or a course that people see you online through, and that's the only way they get in contact. I mean, I feel like everything's online, so that's not really fair. But still, I'm trying to figure out what the male equivalent of maiden, mother, crone is. I don't even know if men have that, because men stay fertile basically throughout their entire lives, and women don't. And I think that's part of the reason that even became a thing. Because I was actually thinking about this the other day. It's like the concept of time really came to be. I mean, I don't know if this is true or not. I'm not an anthropologist. But the concept of time was really due to women because, I mean, well, one, we have our regular cycles monthly, and that kind of interferes with the things we can and can't do. And two, there's a window of time which we are fertile. And if we want to procreate, which back in the days, back when we wanted to survive as a species, we needed to do. So it's really interesting, the concept of time, and how I think for women, it's heavier than it is for men. And I'm talking very heteronormatively here. So take that as it resonates. Maybe some of you also think of that. Okay, so for general, very independent. I'm hearing the song, the Britney Spears song, She's So Lucky, She's a Star. So people do seem to think that you have it made. We have the 8 of Pentacles reversed as well. Interesting, we have 9-8. We have the Ace of Swords. I think people understand that you're very intellectual, or that you're very smart. Like, you definitely think with logic. I feel like people don't believe that you're too emotional. And that's one thing that some people even find attractive. It's like, oh, there's somebody who isn't all emotion, who thinks rationally about things. We have the 3 of Swords. And unfortunately, I feel like, I'm getting this feeling, I don't know if there's like a saying about it, where like, if you're smart, you're more likely to be heartbroken because you can see through a lot of the BS. I'm seeing somebody who has, again, strong discernment. You see through a lot. And when you know the truth, when you're able to see through a lot, it breaks your own heart. Because you know when people are lying to you. You know when people are being dishonest or disrespectful or just not there for you. And I think this is something that maybe, again, I keep hearing that you hold people accountable to to the things they do to you or others. And I think they were expecting you to be on board with them because they're your friend, and you're here like, no, I'm using my discernment and what you did wasn't right. Really interesting. People find it hard to be in your circle, but oddly enough, they're still very attracted to it. Oddly enough, I feel like, I don't know if you've recently gone through something where you've had to let go of a lot of people because maybe they were treating you a certain way in a time of need. I felt this energy before in other readings, but it's been a long time since I felt this energy. I'm getting like a quiet, collected storm. I'm getting like a fierce, beautiful, but an energy that will not be disrespected. It's like people want to be in this, but because they know they've done you wrong, it's like I'm seeing them bow their head in shame. I don't know why I'm seeing that, which is really interesting. Why is this? This is so weird. I'm getting scenes, and I used to watch this in like old movies. I don't know if it's because, or movies from like different time periods. Like a beautiful woman walks by, and like all the raggedy old men take off their hats and bow their head. It's like, we're not worthy. I'm getting that. Why is that? That is so weird. But not just men, of course. I feel like all kinds of people. I wonder if you've had friends who weren't there for you when you needed them, and they know that they weren't there, or they know they did you dirty, and now it's like they feel awkward, but you don't. Either when you confront them, either you're really kind about it and that makes them even feel worse, or maybe you point it out and they're just like, you know. And in some cases, they can't even look at you because they know what they did was wrong. I keep seeing that. I see shame. But the shame is from them, not from you. With you, it's like, you guys really thought you could get away with treating me this way. I'm getting that. I don't know if this is recent though, because this energy feels very strong. Let's get into the reputation of your romance or friendships. I'm also getting this energy that you don't really need anybody, but when you did need people, they weren't there for you. Because you know how some people are like, oh, if you ever need anything, just let me know, message me, call me, stop by. And then they don't effing do it. And then they don't follow through. Or they somehow expect you to jump through every freaking hoop just to get there when you're already not being able to jump. Like you have like a, you know, that's what I'm getting. I don't, this energy is a little weird. It must be recent. Some people wish they could be your friend again, but they know they messed up. Okay, so, King of Swords. You have a reputation for having the pants in a relationship, but also carrying too much in a relationship. King of Pentacles, reversed. Lots of kings. I wonder if you've been in a lot of really solid relationships. Four of Cups. Yeah, like I said, people still think about you. Ace of Fire. So definitely you have a very like solid sensual energy, and I feel like people wonder all the time what it would be like to be with you. Specifically, whoever's attracted to you romantically would wonder, I wonder what a relationship or, you know, a night, if you will, with pile 3 would be like. People are very speculative because, like I said, I don't feel like you let a lot of people into your life. And I feel like even in your romantic relationships, people have taken advantage of the things you have to offer, of the things that you've done, because I see you taking on a lot more. You are definitely more attracted to intellectual people, or people would assume that you are. Again, because you're very smart. They're like, oh, this person is not putting up with anyone dumber than they are. Maybe they've even seen that. But yeah, I feel like when it comes to relationships, you have a hard time finding people on your level with the King of Pentacles reversed, because you already provide so much for yourself. I feel like people understand that it's not that you're hard to date. Like I said, you're very attractive and you even come off as fun, but you definitely have boundaries up, and you definitely don't let people take advantage of you. I don't know if that's happened a lot before in the past because people assume that they can, but your requirements for a partner are rather high, and I feel like that you have every right to keep them high. After all, you do provide a lot, you do a lot in relationships. I'm also seeing somebody who's not really interested in love right now, which is fair, but mostly if you're not already attracting this could be the future here, pile 3, I feel like you attract either older men or men who have any substance. It's like the only sorry, I know I said men, people, older people or people of substance. This is meant for anybody attracted to any kind of person. It's just been very strong with the feminine energy in this reading lately. But yeah, it's kind of like the only kind of person who would satisfy you is somebody at your level or higher. So I feel like that's either what you're attracted to, what you attract, or what you will be calling in. Because you're not here to play around with knights and pages. You're here to play with the kings and queens. Your higher royalty. It's really an elevated status. And it's funny that this is your reputation, because you yourself may not see yourself as like, you know, quote, quote, high quality, high value, like up here. But people feel like you sit on a silent throne, that you have your quiet crown on. I feel like maybe they're just intimidated by your pride or your sense of self-respect, especially when they're not used to seeing a very, again, I keep saying silent because you don't shove this in people's faces, but it's like a quiet, silent kind of self-respect, a silent pride that people, at least where you are currently, aren't used to. Like, they want to talk trash about it, but you're so humble and yet so proud at the same time. They're not used to that combination. I think some of these people are used to like the pride being very boastful, but you're not boastful. You're just, yeah, again, a quiet dignity, a quiet sense of self-respect, so they can't complain about it. I think if people tried to, they'd be like, well, what do you expect Pile 3 to do? Just take nonsense from everybody? That's what I'm getting. I want to see the workspace. For some of you, this could be the workspace, because the air of detachment that I'm picking up on here, it could be your community as well. But I will say this, people talk more about you than they actually talk to you. And maybe you even pick up on this, and that's why you keep distance from everybody. Workplace, we have the moon. You have the star reversed. Oh, you've been overlooked for things. I guess this sense of this disrespect that you get, or this people misunderestimating you, comes strongly in the workplace more than anywhere. Yeah, Empress. People think that your looks have gotten you everywhere, or your connections, or if you were ever in a relationship with anybody that you worked with, they feel like that got you where you were. 9 of Cups. But yeah, people do you dirty in the workplace. King of Cups. Oh gosh, back of the deck. Hierophant. Can I get clarification on the King of Cups? I'll say this, you have a lot of admirers in the workplace, like romantic admirers in the workplace. Yeah, romantic admirers in the workplace. Okay, I don't know why your work situation, maybe the specific people I'm picking up from your reputation has to be work, because look at all the major arcana here. We have 3. All the other ones didn't have any. So for a lot of you, this is, I guess, this is your reputation in the workplace. You're very mysterious. You do seem to have like a lot of potential when it comes to your career or wherever you may work, but I can see that people haven't treated you well or have not treated you fairly, because I see you putting in a lot of effort. I see you being a contender for a lot of like promotions or positions that are enviable, and yet you not getting them. I'm almost kind of hearing somebody say, oh, Pile 3 really thought their looks could get them anywhere, which is unfair, because I feel like for you at least, Pile 3, the workplace isn't about looks, but maybe somebody here thinks it is. I'm picking up on like envious people for sure. 9 of Cups reversed, King of Cups reversed. I'm sensing detachment. I'm sensing detachment, and I'm sensing that you used to care and now you don't. But I feel like people can understand that, or at least, you know, anyone who has anyone with like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, this would make anybody mad. Like, if you were overlooked for certain things that you did well in, and suddenly you're being treated like garbage. It's like, yeah, of course anybody would be annoyed and stop caring and stop putting effort into this. So I'm getting that in the workplace. But oddly enough, I feel like you got a lot of people who really physically admire you in the workplace as well. I feel like you just go into the workplace and slay, which is really cute. Some of you could have maybe you work with a former partner in your career or field. This is so interesting. Why? For some of you, people assume that you, let's just say, flirted your way to the top. And unfortunately, I do see people who only want to see the worst in you rather than the positives. I feel like you probably have more enemies or frenemies in the workplace than you do actual friends. And that kind of breaks my heart. But yeah, this is your reputation here, Pile 3. Let's get into your closing cards. Your closing advice is going to be, I'm doing channeled messages, and the deck is actually more romantic themed, but I'm going to translate it to be more platonic or more neutral. So, Pile 3. I'll be honest, I don't know what you're going through right now, Pile 3, but I feel like the reputation you have currently, at least, is that you're actually a great person, but people envy or hate this, or it makes them feel inadequate, so they would rather talk trash about you or have negative views about you. And that's not fair. But I feel like this could be a wake-up call for a lot of you, that you might just be in an environment that is no longer conducive to your growth, or that is no longer healthy for you. So we have, there are no what ifs. We have I do. Some of you may have recently gotten engaged or in a committed relationship, and people are noting that. We have why not. You definitely ask a lot of questions that make people very uncomfortable. Like I said, you're nobody's fool. You see through crap. And I'm getting a sense of somebody thinking that somebody's just, a pleasant, pretty face, or somebody who's just, a good time to hang around. But then you start asking the real questions and people just start scrambling. Keep your head up and look forward, but you don't let that discourage you. You know there's better things for you in the future. Has this happened before? Deja vu. I'm getting somebody, especially, again, because the workplace came through strongest in this pile. You ask questions that make people uncomfortable. Like, you hold people accountable to things. And maybe this is why people are turning against you, because they don't want to be held accountable for their BS. All of you, you're all of or nothing. Like, if people can't be a mostly positive influence in your life, you want nothing to do with them. And love always wins. And it's so odd, this combination. You have such a beautiful, loving energy, but the other side is like, but I also don't put up with crap. And I think people have a hard time reconciling these two aspects of you. It's like they expect somebody like you to be more fun, to be more kind. Well, I mean, not saying that you're not kind, but, to be more letting them get away with the BS. That's what I'm getting. It's like people want you to let them get away with BS, and you don't. And honestly, especially for those of you who don't have many friends, that's the real reason why. It's like they don't want to be held accountable for their BS. They don't want somebody being, and it's not saying that you're confrontational or anything. You just kind of bring it up like, why would you do that? Why do you say that? Or, I don't think it's fair that we're talking about this person. These are the questions I'm hearing you ask. And some people are just like, what? No, let me sit here and talk toxically about everything and everyone because I want to. Back of the deck, I just want to know why. And then I am getting this energy of you having cut off people and them wondering like, what did I do? What did I do wrong? As if they didn't know. Oh, I'm sorry, whatever environment you're in right now, Pile 3, I am sending you love, protection. You did have the protection card, so I do feel like, the universe is here to keep you safe from that. But I can understand if you're currently in an environment that is not great. I feel like you will find a new one because there's just this unfairness coming through. Yeah, I'm sending you so much love, Pile 3. But this is where I leave it. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, Pile 4. If you chose Bastet, then we have a reading here for you about your reputation. What is your reputation? And we're going to do this in general. in love and relationships and throughout the workplace. So we're going to start with the oracles and then we're going to get into the tarot. Let's go ahead and, well, let's start with the goddess Bastet. She is the goddess of cats and felines. Maybe some of you are big lovers of cats, but even if you're not, there's something very playful or cat-like about your energy. I'm thinking of like black cat energy, how that's a thing where you don't really let people in easily, but when you do, you're very playful, you're very cute. Some of you could even be very photogenic, or people may find you very entrancing. This does say sanctuary at the bottom. And the way I interpret that several ways, because I'm thinking of like you being a lot of people's safe space, or people find it very safe or comforting to be around you. So let's get your cards. We have birth, fertile energy here as well, whatever that may mean for some of you. I'm also getting creative energy. This makes me think of the 5th house in astrology, which is both ruled by Leo, which would make sense because we do have a cat goddess here, and the house of children, the children you birth. So maybe for some of you, you have a very strong 5th house. We also have primordial water, number 37. Hope, rainbow, 50. We have disruption. We have Yamaya, hope. Interesting that hope came through twice from 2 very different decks. And then we have scales of balance, ancient tantra of the soul. Well, 1, people find you to be very fun. I'm getting a very fun energy. This disruption makes me think of, you know how when children will disrupt you or like interrupt you when you're just doing whatever, working, talking to people. You have a very similar energy. Like I feel like you just come in crashing to people's lives. Sometimes unexpectedly, sometimes it's welcome, and sometimes people are like, oh, I wasn't expecting you here. I'm getting that. I'm also getting a very strong, like colorful energy here. Very fun. Primordial makes me think of like, for some of you, you have a very sensual nature to you. Definitely, because I'm feeling this very strongly in like 8th house energy. So you can be very creative, especially with this rainbow here. I associate rainbow with several things, but the way it's coming through here is like all the colors of a rainbow, and therefore a lot of creativity. Though, of course, if you are part of the LGBT community, this could also be the case. Take it as it resonates, or both, honestly. Because we also have Yamaya here with water. She's an ocean goddess, I'm pretty sure. And then Tantra makes me think again of the 8th house. So for a lot of you, you have very strong fertile energy. You have a lot of people who are attracted to you if you're a woman that would like to make you their baby mama. I know that seems odd, but that's coming through very strongly here for a lot of you because you have a very sensual way about you. Some of you are very beautiful. Some of you are very attractive. If you're a man, same thing. You know, they'd like you to be the daddy to their parents. Let's just put it that way. So definitely a strong sensual energy is coming through, but it's odd. It's more playful and like, it's like when you interact with somebody, let's say from a picture, you can't really tell whether somebody's attractive or not, or maybe, I don't know. Some people just don't take good pictures, and then they meet you in person and they're like, oh, who's this? And you have like a very natural way of like walking, talking that is very seductive, very attractive. That's what I'm getting. So it'll be interesting to see what comes through in relationships, in the relationship section of the tarot. As far as in general, I feel like you come off as somebody who's very, very up for anything. There's like a very youthful energy regardless of age, but also very, it's hard to put into words. And I think that's the thing about your reputation. It's hard to put into words how you come off to people. It's like people have to meet you to understand you and get you. And I feel like a lot of that is actually your energy. But like I said, with disruption, you enter the room and people notice. It's hard to ignore you. It's hard to ignore when you're in people's lives. Even if all they do is follow you online, I feel like it's hard to ignore whenever you post something, like something, comment something. Your energy is very strong, also very magnetic. And people, for the life of them, cannot understand this. What else is coming through? With hope, I think you fulfill a lot of people's fantasies or desires. It's like people hoping that you could be friends with them, people hoping that they could date you, people hoping that you'll pay attention to them, something along those lines. Very interesting. Some of you could be Scorpio. I get this very strongly from like Scorpio placements. Pisces as well. I think they both have that kind of energy. Water signs in general, because there's a lot of water here. So Cancer, yeah, just add all three of them. But mostly Scorpio and then Pisces, if I was to give them a certain order. There is something here about... If you have children, people notice this as well with birth here. Maybe some of you have carried children for other people, because that's popping up here. Like they're not your children. What's it called? A surrogate, maybe even a surrogate. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the tarot, because whatever this is, it's really interesting energy. It's more felt than it is explained or described in words. So, pile 4. In general, what is your reputation? In general, what is... Okay, these two fell out. We have the Magician, Page of Cups, and the Two of Swords. You're very communicative. You definitely don't mind speaking your mind. It's almost like you have no filter. That's kind of funny. It's almost like you have no filter, so you may just say whatever's on your mind, and people then look at you like, did you just say that? And you're like, yeah. And you don't really seem to care. It's almost like you have no shame of the things that you say, which is really interesting. With Magician especially, I feel like you're definitely very in control of your life, whether people acknowledge this or notice this or not. Because for some of you, you don't look like somebody who makes all the decisions in your life, but you do. It's very much giving an energy of somebody who does whatever they want. And I think that's what throws people off. Again, I mentioned this youthful energy, and it's coming through again here. Water energy as well, very strongly. Water and air. We have the Nine of Pentacles. This card has come out in like almost every pile. I don't know why that is. I think there's a lot of people here who are like very much independent and don't need anybody. And I think that's why you're here. It's like when you don't have a lot of... when you're very different from somebody, when you stand out, when you know you're different from the crowd, I think you kind of sometimes wonder, well, what do people think of me? Especially, I'm not saying that you don't have a lot of friends, but maybe you have friends and you wonder if they think you're weird or if like what they're saying about you. I do have some readings on like the gossip or tea on you, and those are always really good ones. I can link them below if you want. Just leave a comment, pile 4. So let's get one more card. Oh, okay, 2 came out. Tower and King of Cups. You're the kind of person who just shows up with a new partner and people never expect that partner. We'll get more into that. I don't know why your relationships are coming through very strongly here. But the Tower moment isn't so much, again, just like an unexpected energy. I feel like you just come into people's lives and shake things up for better or worse. Not intentionally. I feel like the majority of you, it's not intentional. But you definitely come into people's lives and change them. So especially... if I'm picking up on like the energy of past lovers, it's like you come in, change their lives, and they sometimes wonder where they would be if they had never met you, because you have this very transformative energy even in relationships or maybe even friendships. Maybe you have those friends that if you weren't around, they wouldn't be where they are currently. And maybe you don't know about this until years later, because I know I've had people tell me, different people from different eras of my life be like, you know, if you hadn't introduced me to that, I would have never done this, this, and this. Or, you know, because of you, I know how to speak up more and this, and that. Like just weird things that I'm here like, wow, okay, I didn't know I was that impactful. And they're not even like my closest friend. They'll be like an acquaintance or something. Well, not acquaintance, I guess, but you know, a distant friend, a friend I would see once in a while. But I definitely feel the impact that you have on people for better or worse here, pile 4. Let's get your love and relationships. There's something a little unconventional about you, and you embrace that. It's like your weirdness you're not afraid of. You don't care if it's cringe. You don't care what people have to say about it. You're like, I'm here to be me, and I don't care what you have to say. And oddly enough, that's what attracts people to you, is this lack of a lack of shame. Not that you should be shamed about anything you do, but it's like they would call it a lack of shame. I would call it authenticity. Let's call it authenticity. Okay, so in relationships, there could have been somebody in your life that was like a big influence, and either they're no longer with you or you had to separate and it was very public. Because I see you having to become your own source of stability here. You have the Ace of Cups. And I feel like right now you're actually very closed off in relationships, despite having a lot of attention romantically, despite, this would be like somebody who likes to date but doesn't want commitment. This is the reputation you have, pile 4. This may or may not be how you actually see yourself, but this is how people see you. 8 of Swords, yeah. It's like, I think a lot of you are closed off from relationships, especially if you're very attractive and you get a lot of romantic attraction and attention. You're like, I actually don't want to date right now. And the World reversed. But people know that you will eventually find somebody. I see a lot of people rooting for you because, again, there's something about your energy. It's very seductive, very playful, but they know that right now you're not in the best space to be in relationships, or at least that's the reputation you have. Because I see you turning down a lot of people who have like pure intentions. And it's not that you don't believe their pure intentions. It's not that you, for some of you may even be attracted to these people, but you're just like, this is not what I want right now, which is really interesting. I think this confuses people. But yeah, that's what I'm getting for love and relationships, oddly enough. But they know you will eventually find somebody. Because you're just, it's like you're such a catch. They have a hard time believing that you wouldn't at least find somebody who would want to marry you, that you would also find worthy of your time. Let's look at the workplace. 3 of Wands. You like a good challenge. You love a challenge. Yeah, there it is. There's the challenge. The 10 of Wands. You come off as very aggressive in the workplace. Also very smart. People don't mess with you because you ask the questions they don't want to hear. But at the same time, they want to keep you around because you know how to do a lot. You have the 9 of Cups. A lot of these, okay, some of these placements came from pile 3. Maybe some of you didn't like pile 3 and you're coming here because I'm getting the same cards in the same places, even though I'm shuffling and turning this thing around. I promise. But the only difference between you and pile 3 is that you don't keep any secrets. You don't mind, like if people ask you, you'll tell them everything. It's like, yeah, sure, this is what I do and do this, and this is what they said, and I'm not supposed to say this, but this. You're not afraid of breaking the facade of either places that feel, like I don't feel like you like secrets. Oddly enough, even though there's a lot of water in your energy here, pile 4, you don't like secrets. And sometimes, like, for example, the sign of Scorpio. I love Scorpios, and I say this because I know so many Scorpios. They have a reputation for being mysterious and keeping or liking secrets. However, I've known plenty of Scorpios who don't like secrets, who don't like surprises, and their whole thing is unraveling this mystery that the world may have out there. And I see a similar energy here for you, pile 4, where you're not going to put people on blast, but if people ask you, you'll tell them. And all it costs is them giving a crap about how they've treated you, oddly enough. It's like really interesting. You're very honest. And people weren't expecting that from you. Or maybe, I don't know why they wouldn't expect that from you. But I feel like you have a youthful, playful energy. But yet you work hard. And I think that's why people in either the workplace may take advantage of this. Or people can take advantage of this. Or they wouldn't expect you to be as high up or far along in your career as you may be, or even just having like a good source of money. Back of the deck, we have the Wheel of Fortune. I feel like life hands you lots of very lucky breaks. Take that noise in the background as confirmation. Side note, pile 4, I'll never understand why every neighbor I've ever had always has to have one of those big loud diesel cars. It's not even a truck, they're cars. But anyway, I feel like for a lot of you, you don't like secrets in the workplace. You also work very hard and you're very blunt and honest. But with this Wheel of Fortune, I feel like life hands you a lot of really good lucky opportunities, but in that same vein, it'll sometimes give you some really hard some unfortunate things. So I feel like your luck comes and goes. Your luck is kind of like either really good or sometimes really bad. But I feel like that's just the universe trying to get you to do certain things, because you definitely march to the beat of your own drum. Because I'm not saying that you're not spiritual, but I can easily see this being the energy of somebody who, even though they're spiritual, they still want to do the things that they want to do. Because this Magician energy and the next to the Page of Cups is coming through as like, you can't tell me what to do. I do what I want. I don't know where that's coming through. And oddly enough, it's always the people like that in my life that I've known that will have the oddest luck. Like they'll have like a really good year, but at the same time, really bad things happen in that year and vice versa. Yeah, but this is what I'm getting for my pile 4. Let's go ahead and move on to channeled messages. The deck I'm using is meant to be from like a romantic perspective, but I am going to translate this to be more platonic. So pile 4. We have, I support your decision no matter what. Yeah, a lot of you are very supportive of the people around you, and I feel like people support you too. Like even when the decision is not always easy, they're very supportive. I think a lot about us. People think a lot about you. There's low-key and obsessive energy here. This could be you, this could be them. We have, this was meant to be. People believe that you believe in fate. I am not going back. There are people that wish you were still with them, especially if you've moved away. Because I see a lot of you being able to like maintain friends from all over the world. We have I do. This has also come out in every single pile. I think somebody here, or maybe my viewers of this reading, want a marriage reading, which I don't like marriage readings because Spirit views marriage very differently. But regardless, for a lot of you, maybe there's marriage involved here. Maybe you already are married, or people believe you will be. I trust you. People trust you a lot with their issues, secrets. I see people finding you trustworthy. And then the time is now. You definitely do act on impulse, but I feel like it's like intuitively, divinely guided impulse. It's not just like, or people see the things that you do as impulsive, even if you put a lot of thought into them, oddly enough. And then back of the deck, be patient. I do see the universe coming through saying that you could benefit from a little bit of patience in certain aspects of your life. Just because the energy I felt here just came off a little bit impulsive or a little bit too, because I'm hearing if you had waited just a little bit, things would get better. But take that as it resonates here, pile 4. But this is where I leave it. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 5. If you chose Ixchel, then we have your reading here for you about your reputation, how people perceive you, what people think of you, what your reputations are. We're going to do this in 3 sections in the tarot. We're going to do general, love relationship, and the workplace. So you got the goddess Ixchel, compassion. She is I forget if she's Aztec or Mayan, but generally the same area, of healing, of motherhood. I think she's like a goddess of midwifery, but basically a medicine woman. Think of her as a medicine woman, one who heals. We have the word compassion here, so a lot of people do see you as very compassionate, very healing, very kind as well, or at least that's the reputation you have. So we're going to get into the oracles. We're going to start. So we have number 15, shooting star, serendipity. I feel like you come into people's lives when they least expect it or when they need it. There's something about you yourself being on divine timing. This also makes me think of the star card in the tarot. We have growth. Because you can grow without healing, but I feel like the growth is easier with healing. We have peace. We have High Priestess, mysteries revealed in the eyes of Isis. This makes me think of the High Priestess as well. Maybe some of you are very intuitive, which if you're a healer, you have to be very intuitive. And then we have Ixchel again. Interesting. But this one says release. So maybe the goddess Ixchel is actually a very important goddess to this pile. Interesting. Or you may have roots in Mexico or Mesoamerica. I'm thinking... What borders Mexico, Guatemala, I think El Salvador, all the little countries in Central America as well. Maybe you have roots there, or you could have a background from there. Like myself, my family's from Michoacan. So there is something here about the reputation you have is very peaceful. It's very soothing. It's also full of growth, like you encourage people's growth, or you're very, I'm thinking of a nurturing energy that allows people to be the best versions of themselves, that allows people to bring out within themselves things that maybe they didn't even see. I feel like you're really good at seeing through people. You're really good at understanding what they've got going on. There's even like an air of mystery to you, but the only reason it doesn't come through as like an intimidating mystery is because you are so kind. I feel like at least the energy I'm picking up on from people, from the certain group of people, because I feel like different piles will have different groups of people, perspectives, reputations, is that you're not intimidating and you're also not threatening. But once people get to know you, they understand how healing you are. This is a very peaceful, loving energy. I love this because I'm literally holding out my hand like this as I'm talking. And I don't usually do that. So maybe some of you may have very healing hands, like maybe you're actually a light worker, an energy worker, or you could work in things like massage therapy or massage or anything that involves like putting your hands on people, because that's what I'm seeing. I'm thinking of healing. There's this beautiful energy as well that you're kind of like a blessing. I almost said blessing in disguise, maybe for some of you, because people don't expect this from you, or you don't look like somebody who would be a healer. I'm also thinking of an angel, a healer. Like people find your presence to be very soothing, very, very healing. There's somebody here coming through who almost wants to, I feel like you bring out like the emotional side of people, because I'm getting like this energy of somebody who wants to cry and break down in front of you, which is maybe something that happens a lot for some of you as well. Beautiful energy. Certain signs coming through, astrological signs, I am getting like all the water energy, but specifically Cancer and Pisces. And then with the star, I am thinking of Aquarius or like a strong Uranus placement. I'm also thinking of Chiron, the asteroid Chiron, which in astrology is where it's both learning and healing. So, and healing itself would be the 9th house, I think. No, the 12th house. It's the 12th house and then, well, a bit of 9th house and a bit of 12th house. Some of you could have Pisces in the 9th house. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the rest of your reading. We're going to go into the tarot. I'll be honest, pile 5, I was kind of in a really weird mood before I did this pile. Because I was a mix of emotions, intense emotions. And then I looked down at your card, and then I was guided to like get all your cards, and suddenly I was put in a really good mood. I was put in like, some of you could have a very intense, or not intense, a strong Jupiter in your house. So look to where your Jupiter is, and it's probably either very positively aspected, or it could be in a placement that, I don't know, strong Jupiter energy. You make people happy, at ease, just by being yourself and being around them. So let's get your reputation here, pile 5. We have the Lovers reversed. Interesting. We have the King of Swords. You're very empowering. You empower people to be an individual. You empower people to let go of the things that they don't need. That's why we had that release card. You empower people to be the best version of themselves. And whatever the best version of yourself may need, or themselves may need, it could involve letting go or incorporating things. Because I'm literally seeing the Temperance card, the Rider-Waite visual, where there's like an angel, literally an angel, like taking 2 cups and like, I'm assuming balancing out the energies or focusing the energy where it needs to go. So I'm seeing that, again, strong Sagittarius energy, but people do see you as an angel. They also see you as very intelligent. Justice, yes, I was getting that intensely, that you have a strong sense of justice. And that's what motivates you to heal. We have Empress. People do find you to be very peaceful, very nurturing, very beautiful in that way. The same way a meadow is beautiful, not just because of the flowers and nature around it, but because there's peace there. Because it's like a break from all the forest. We have the Knight of Cups. How is this meant to go? I feel like for a lot of you, there's a lot of romantic attention around you. Because we have the Lovers, you have the Knight of Cups and the Empress. So a lot of you, you're very beautiful, very romantically interesting. So this could be in several ways, like either you attract a lot of people, or people could be curious about your love life in whichever way that may be. I don't know, maybe some of you are just like hot, young, and single, and people want to know, oh, who are you seeing? Who's taking you out? How many people are in your DMs? You know, like they're curious about that. Or maybe you've been in and out of relationships and they want to know all about it. So there is a strong concentration on romance here, and this isn't even the romance section. So let's go ahead and get into relationships. What's your reputation when it comes to relationships? I just heard you're a heartbreaker. Yeah, Knight of Wands reversed, you're a heartbreaker. In some cases, I am hearing people may think you move on quickly or move on too fast. I'm hearing Ariana Grande's Thank You Next. So maybe you're in and out of the dating life, the dating world. This is the stuff people assume about you, by the way. This is like your reputation. So even if this isn't true for you, pile 5, maybe right now you're single and have absolutely nobody in your DMs, this is still what they would assume. We have the 5 of Pentacles reversed. People feel that you have a high self-confidence. Like they see you as very confident. Doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter what you've got going on. You carry yourself in such a way that you exude confidence. Even if you don't feel this yourself, like some of you may even come off as a little arrogant. I'll be honest. Like, it's like, oh, she thinks she's too pretty for me. She thinks she's too pretty for... I say she because I'm feeling a lot of feminine energy. But pile 5 thinks they're too good looking for me. Pile 5 thinks that... yeah. I think especially if you are a woman and men want to, like, you know, grab your attention and you're just, like, not interested for whatever reason, they get offended. I am getting that. We have the Hermit. I feel like a lot of you, your dating life isn't that interesting, but people assume it is. Or it's nowhere near as, you know, it's nowhere near what they seem to think it is. Because the Hermit reverse, it's like, you're very open about what you've got going on, but people just seem to think that you've got more going on than you let on. We have the 8 of, yeah, again, you move on too fast. That they don't stick around. Why is this? My goodness. I wonder if you talk a lot about your love life with people, because I just keep getting... or that you don't have the time of day for people as well. And the 5 of Cups reversed. I think it would surprise people to know that you actually do suffer from quite a bit of heartache. I think maybe in the past you were more like flirtatious and datey, and now it's like you just... willing to date, and now it's like you don't I don't know, it's like you don't care because you're very sensitive, but people seem to assume that this would be like someone assuming that you've got, like, let's say somebody wants to date you, they would assume you've got a lot of people chasing after you or in your DMs, or you're talking to a lot of people, or you're seeing a lot of people, and the truth is that you just don't care, you don't want anyone because you've got a very sensitive heart, and you don't want to waste your time with them. This is kind of, I feel like I relate to this a little bit, pile 5, and that's why I might, like, this is tugging at my heartstrings. It's kind of like, it's not intimidation, but people assume you have so many people, so they don't even bother, and that's kind of annoying. But also, I don't know. Maybe you're just in a weird space. Maybe the environment you're in, this is just how people think. So let's move on to the workplace. What's your reputation? How do people view you in the workplace? What is your reputation? We have the 6 of Swords. You could travel for work. 3 of Swords. We have the Chariot. Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of travel. Also, that maybe you actually move a lot from, you could change jobs a lot. You could have a lot of streams of income, but I'm not seeing you stick to one place. It's like, you know where your loyalty lies. You know where your, you dedicate a lot of time to yourself. It's like, even if you're not self-employed, you act self-employed, even if you're employed by somebody else, which is really interesting. Lots of forward movement. And then we have the 4 of Wands. This is definitely work hard, play harder energy. If not, I feel like Spirit is guiding you to celebrate your wins, to celebrate more. I feel like you downplay a lot of your accomplishments, or you make it as like not a big deal that you do certain things. But the truth is, once people find out about like how much you make, your energy levels, maybe some of you work with energy. I feel like once people find out about your results and stuff, like once people find out how hard you work, they're like, oh wow, dang, pile 5, you've actually accomplished quite a bit, but you downplay it, or you don't let people know about it. Maybe you don't want to, maybe you're afraid that if people knew about all the good things you do, that they would take advantage of it. But I'm getting a strong energy of you being very detached in the workplace. Let's put it that way. I feel like you've had negative experiences in either certain companies or in certain careers, so you just kind of keep to yourself. You come in, do the work, and that's it. Which this energy I've picked up before in a different reading, so this could be the same people watching this pile. With the Chariot, again, we have Cancerian energy here. But with Cancer, again, it's like you're very kind. You're very willing to help people out and get to where you are. Like you tell them your secrets. You tell them like, oh, well, this is how I started my business. This is how I got started in my career. You don't feel threatened by people at all, because oddly enough, the Chariot is it's a very progressive card. It's like you believe in going to the future. You believe in making things go forward. And if this means educating like the younger or newer generations that are going to come into your field, you're more than happy to do that. There's something about you really creating something for the future here, which I really like. I feel like people like you in the workplace, but you're very detached, and I think that's why. Back of the deck, we have the Hanged Man. You've gone through a lot of changes in life. I feel like you've done a lot to... it's like you've lived so many lives in one. Maybe this is my older crowd, but some of you, even if you're younger, it's like you've gone through so much in your life that you've lived several lifetimes despite your age. So I am getting that for a lot of you. But with that said, let's move on to your closing cards, which is it's a channeled messages deck, but I'm using it more for platonic, because it's a romance deck, for like general messages. So for my pile 5, we have, I think about us a lot. You're very thoughtful. You think a lot about other people. You could be like a life path 6 that was coming through, or maybe even a Libra. I do get that a little bit. But I feel like you think a lot about other people. We have Lie to Me. Oh gosh. We have The Feeling is Mutual. You know what's interesting? I feel like you don't give your energy to anybody unless you know that they're honest, because there's something here about you. Again, you're a healer, and healers have, I feel like they go through so much. Perhaps make me believe. It's almost like people come to you to heal them, whether they recognize this or not. And it's kind of like you may see both the best and the ugliest sides to people. Because I see this sometimes, like, because you're able to see through people. And what this means is that you will see the versions of them that either need to be healed, or that you either you see the best in them, or you see if there is no best in them. If all they have is like, you know, I don't know, negative energy, that's what you will see. So I'm getting a little bit of like, you know how when there's a new person in town or in a friend group or something, like a new person, and everybody loves that person, everybody's just raving about them, or they're all about them. But you meet them and you're like, I don't like this person at all. And you can't put your finger on it, but you just don't like the vibes, and they've done nothing or said anything to show that they're awful, but you're just like, I don't like it. And then like later on, you find out why. And you're like, oh, I knew it. I get that you're that kind of person. And maybe you've proven people right about this too. I feel the same. Something about feeling the same and the feeling is mutual. You will only be around people who are on the same level as you, who feel the same as you. Like this, you don't do unbalanced relationships at all. Like if somebody dislikes you but you like them, you don't stick around for that. It's like, okay, then let me distance myself from this and just be neutral about you. Because I don't think you make it an effort to match energy, but you will act accordingly once you find out that certain people think or feel a certain way about you. It still hurts. Yeah, like I said, maybe some of you are literally healers and you have to deal with hurts of others and of yourself. Back of the deck, I am yours. But the people who do adore you, they find it hard to let you go or find it hard to... There's people here who are just like really attracted to your energy. And like I said, it's that beautiful light within you, the healing within you. But this is where I leave it, my beautiful pile of 5. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next reading. Take care.